Woo! Loving it. Yeah, nice fish. I'll tell you what. Now, what a way to start the morning off. I'll tell you that. Wow. Man. Wow. Freaking killer. Shaking like a leaf, you know? Hey, I'll tell you what a great way to start the morning off. That was like my 4th cast, and not a real big fish for Green Bay, but still a nice fish in that, probably that 40-inch range. Wow, that thing absolutely, I love the feel of that. That fish absolutely drilled that. Boy, these fish got so much piss and vinegar in them. Hey, I'll tell you what, like I said, the DNR has done just an absolutely fabulous job of building this muskie fishery. It's one of the best, I'd say top 10 muskie fisheries in the country. And I love it when you can catch these fish casting. Let's let this one go. Nice job. Release. She's out of here. Whew. All right. Hey everybody, I'll tell you what we're doing today. We're out here on the Bay of Green Bay, and we're actually trying out some of these new bucktails, the Esox Cobra by Bait Rigs. So far we've got one muskie, probably in that, I never did measure them total, but probably in that 42 to 44 range. Had one other fowl and one other fish on that we never saw. But basically what we're doing is we're going with the side imaging, the hummingbird today. Lance has got set up in his boat here. And we're just driving along until we actually see these fish on the side imaging. Then he's putting a waypoint in, and then we're actually going back upwind, and he's using the bow mount to get us right back on course. The wind's blowing pretty hard today out of the southwest, and a perfect wind drifting us right across these cabbage beds. And when you're out on the bay out here, that's the key, is to find the cabbage. There's a few other different types of weeds out here, obviously, like coontail and milfoil. But it seems like if you can find that cabbage, that's where these fish like to stack up this time of year. Hey, I think it's always important to use a super braid so you get a good hook set into them muskies. And today I'm using 80-pound super braid, and we're using the Power Strike line. I started off slow on the retrieve, and then I speeded up, and about halfway through the cast, I always change the angle of my rod tip like this. Changes the direction of the bait. And when you're going into a figure 8, you got to make sure that you're not stalling that bait. You keep it moving at all times. So again, what I do is I make my cast. I started off kind of slow like this, and then I speed up my retrieve like this. Then when I'm about halfway back to the boat, I change the angle of the rod. It just shifts the bait in a little different direction. And then when I come into the figure 8, you got to keep it moving all the time. And don't drop the bait. If you stall the bait's going to drop, the blades are going to stop moving. And if there's a fish, and most of these fish are very well educated because they've been caught a time or two, that's how they get, you know, after they get big, they get smart. It's kind of like deer. You know, they reach that certain stage in their life, it's a whole different beast to try to catch them. A little wiser. Just like Lance, you know, he's a little wiser. The only guy I know that's not married and hasn't been married.
He's hard to catch.
He's hard to catch, yeah. He's like an old muskie. Look at him back there.
Yeah. He is a big one.
He is a big one. Hey, you know what? Unbelievable. Lance the Lightning, how every day after he's done fishing, he goes home, calls either Ratch and Deb's, gets a pizza, or some other place, sits on his recliner, and that's it. No worries until the next morning. Must be kind of nice, you know? He's just had life made so easy, you know, he's kind of set in his ways. You think there's a lady out there that actually could change his ways, right?
That's enough. Let's go catch some fish. It's windy, but I can still hear you guys.
Oh, he can, darn it. Oh, that's right, he's in the boat with us. All right, get us on some. What do you need, bow mowing up?